Good evening, Unique Couples community.
Hello, we are live.
How's everybody doing this evening? We are Vito and Linda Patrick. We are here in Freeport, Grand Bahama, and we want to welcome you to another Unique Couples Sunday Night Live. We have special guests in the house with us this evening,
Yes.
Bradley and Shalea Hendfield. We'll be introducing them in a few minutes.
Yes. Awesome to have you. Go ahead. We see our live squad is here typing in. We see Grand Bahama is here. Awesome. Natalia, looks like tuning in. Is it the first time? If this is your first time joining us, put number 1 in chat if this is your first time. Good to see you, Julie. Good to see you, Gia. Hello, Kevin. Good to see all of you who are joining us. We're in for a powerful conversation. You know, we all work. Most people work, couples, and sometimes it's both of us, husband and wife on the, just go in there. I feel like in the rat race, or like feel like, just turning wheels. And so we're going to talk today about how to make career and marriage work, something that we all need a little insight into for our relationship. So we're so happy and excited to have Bradley and Shalea here today on Unique Couples Sunday Night Live to share with us. Okay. Yeah. So good to see you. Hello, Claudine. Thanks for joining us. And we just want to say thanks for making it possible. Here to Please. You can contact Doris at Here to Please. Thanks for making it possible, sponsoring tonight's event. Also, the Nail Lab creation by Anna. Thanks for sponsoring tonight's event, as well as Style Me Pretty. Shadra, you'll see the numbers displayed. You can get in touch with them. Let them know that we sent you from Unique Couples so that you can get that unique experience, that unique special touch, and the unique care when you go to get your hair done, nails done, and even buy your hair as well, ladies. So you can get all dolled up for that date nights that we promote so much in our marriage club. So we're going to get right into it. Go ahead, invite a friend, let someone know that, hey, we're on, we're live, and we are starting this conversation. We have a lot of number ones today. Awesome.
Yes. Hello, Patrice. Hello, Nishka. Hello, Nakira. Hello, Shantavia. So we want to welcome everyone here to our Unique Couples Sunday Night Live. And like Linda said, we're going to be talking about how to make career and marriage work.
Mm-hmm.
We know that we have to work. We have to pay the bills. We have to put food on the table. But also, you still have to make working along with marriage work.
Yep.
So you have to still find that time in your marriage. So Bradley and Shalea, they're going to be talking about that with us this evening. So good evening, Bradley and Shalea. How are you doing this evening?
Good. Good evening, everyone.
All right. Great to have you all here this evening.
Mm-hmm.
So can you go ahead and tell our viewing audience a little about who Bradley and Shalea is? How long you guys have been married? How did you meet? How many kids you have?
Yeah.
All that good stuff.
For work. Yes.
Hello, everybody. We've been married for 15 and a half years now, or 15 and 3/4 years. Almost 16 years, yeah. We have 3 children, 2 boys, 2 sons, 1 daughter. 11, 8, and 4 are the ages. We met in choir rehearsal. Really funny story. We were having rehearsal and Shalea walked in. So after rehearsal, me and the other guy, we were talking about Shalea. And they were kind of afraid to go and approach her. So I decided to be the one to go and talk to her, to go and find out information. That was my role, to find out information, really.
I was new. They were
so
all members, so everybody wanted to know who the new girl was.
So that worked out to my advantage in the end. You're muted. We can't hear you.
Yes. That definitely worked out for you. He won, right? Yes.
Yeah.
And if you have not heard, if you want to hear the written part or see the written part of their story, you could go ahead on our Unique Couples Facebook page, and you will see we featured that on. I think it was yesterday,
Yeah.
their story.
Yeah.
So you could go ahead and read more about their story there as well. So we're all excited about this. Hello, Kathy. Hello.
Krishonda, Canada is in the house.
Yes,
Welcome.
Carbonet. Yes,
Yes.
yes. Good to see all of you.
Makibo. Yeah, we want to welcome all of you here.
Yes, go ahead and share. This is the Man Cave, the secret of the Man Cave, the author of the secret of the Man Cave himself. And he is going to tell us some of these secrets while he is talking about, making this career and marriage work. So ladies, listen in. Go and get your man. Yeah, no pressure, no pressure. Get your husbands, get your man in so that they can hear this powerful conversation. We're going to leave Bradley and Shalea up to it. If you have questions, put your questions in the chat.
Yeah.
Let us know your takeaways. Let us know what points are, just getting your juices flowing. Some of the things that just stood out to you, put those in chat even as they speak and even as we look out for the questions. Okay, so go ahead and share. Let someone know they cannot miss this conversation on Unique Couple Sunday Night Live with Bradley and Shalea.
Yes. So take it away, Bradley.
Good evening, everybody. Bradley and Shalea here. So, of course, our topic is how do we make marriage and career work? Our situation is kind of unique, but we'll get into that as we give our presentation. So, as we begin this presentation, one thing doesn't work for every couple.
Right.
So, we don't want you to take what we say and take it as gospel. And
That's the be all, end all.
If it's not working, if you're not doing this, then you all have to try this.
Right.
It's what works for you.
Right.
So we're no experts in this. We're learning as we go every day, trying to figure things out. But we pray that whatever we say will be able to help, if only one couple, to navigate through career and marriage. It can be tough. It can be challenging.
Mm-hmm.
There are so many different dynamics that
Yes.
goes on in a marriage and career, especially when children are involved.
Yes.
So take what we say. If you need to apply anything, then you can apply it. Just take what you need to work for you. And if it works, then continue with it. If it doesn't, then okay, we tried it and it didn't work. So our first nugget that we have to share is probably the most common thing that you would hear in a marriage or geared towards marriage, and that is communication. We always hear about, communication is the key in a marriage, in a successful marriage. So communication is our first nugget for the evening. Talking about making it work, you have to communicate in figuring out how schedules line up. If you have children, their schedules fitting into your schedules and all that other stuff. So Shalea is going to share a portion on the communication, and I will put my 5 cents in as she shares.
Good evening, everyone. Please excuse me, I'm a bit nervous. He's just an expert at this, and I'm just coming in on the tail end. But like he said, communication is our first nugget that we would say you need to have in order to be successful in marriage and balancing career and everything. The thing for us is that we can now speak, I guess, from both sides of the spectrum, because when he was employed with Polymers, his shift was 7 to 7. And so we definitely had to communicate. And at that point, we didn't have the kids as yet. So it was a little bit easier to balance out, spending time with each other and, working it out with his schedule. But the thing is, I think it was the first year in the marriage, he started school. So we now have to navigate him working a 7 to 7 shift. I'm working. He's going to class. And so it was some days that we were just basically shifts passing, because as I'm coming home, he is leaving to either go to work or to go to class. And so it's just like, hey, how you doing? See you in a couple minutes. And then sometimes his class ran so late, I was in dreamland when he came home. So we definitely had to communicate even if it was a text during the day or, just a phone call. Hey, babe, what's up? I'm just checking on you and everything. But communication is so important. Like, even before you say I do, you need to communicate, because you could be getting involved with somebody who decides that he wants his wife to be at home and to cook and to clean and to have kids, and that may not be your vision. So communication is so important, because so much things can get lost in transit, because there are so many, there are so many expectations about marriage. There are so many stipulations and ideas that people have about how a marriage should be. And so you need to communicate all these things, even down to how many kids you want to have. Because after we got engaged, we often tell the story. We sat down and we had a heart-to-heart conversation, and I was like, divorce is not an option for me. So you're gonna need to make sure that this is what you want to do. And we talked about how many kids we wanted to have, and God bless, we were on the page. 3 was the number. So if 3 was a boy, 3 was the number. We were not going to be trying until we have that girl. No, 3 was our max. And we communicated about making plans about the future and work. And he knows that I'm not the stay-at-home type, I guess to say. I like working. I like being busy. So that was something that we had already communicated. So it's important for you to have that conversation, have that hard conversation, because you may find that your wife may be a workaholic and you're not into that. And you may find that your husband may be a workaholic and you're not a person that's really into that. So like I said, you have to communicate. It's so important. And I guess, like I said before, we're unique in the sense that we had the working communication, and then that was last year. Last year, Bradley got laid off from Polymers. So now we're in the situation where I'm the only one working and he's not working. So again, communication had to come into play, because after that we had to sit down and we had to have a conversation. Okay, babe, so some things are gonna have to change, and we're gonna have to, see how to navigate now with the one income coming into the house. And the thing with us is that we actually, after we had the conversation, we sat down and we spoke with the kids to let them know, okay, listen, daddy isn't working and mommy is the only one working, so there are gonna be some changes in the house. And so my children are grown beyond their years and they think that they know everything. So they were okay. So my youngest son, he was like, so that means we can't buy fast food all the time no more. Go figure, that's his concern. So communication is very, very important. Our next nugget is work together at home, and this ties into communication as well. I was blessed. Thank you, Jesus. I was blessed to have a husband that can cook, likes to cook, can clean, is okay with cleaning. So it was a situation where we had a balance with that, because it wouldn't be where I come home from work all day and then it's like I gotta go and I gotta try to figure out what to cook and what to clean up and all this stuff. But it worked out where, okay, he likes to cook, so he's home. When I come home, most of the time he's already cooked. So I would then catch up with the kids because he's been at home with them basically for the day. So I'll give him a break from them and chat with them and play with them, and we play games and everything like that. And even when he was working, we had it where if he's cooking, I'm doing homework. If I'm cooking, he's doing homework. So we made it work in that sense where, we try to balance out each other. We know and we understand that there are some couples where the husband is not, what's the word? As domesticated, so to speak. So it's a lot on the wife, because especially if she's working, because she then has to come home, she has to cook, she has to clean, She has to, do everything, and that can become very overwhelming. So again, it goes back to communication. And when this happens, you need to be able to be comfortable to communicate your feelings, to be able to say, babe, okay, listen, I'm tired. I really don't know if I could keep doing this. So if it is that you need to sit down and have a conversation and say, you know what, maybe I think we need to have a maid to come in. If you can afford it, we need to have a maid to come in maybe twice a week to help me with the cleaning. Or if it is that you want somebody, you can find somebody to help you with the cooking. And this goes into our third point, I guess, so to speak, about support. Listen, you have to be able to support each other for it to work, right, babe?
Yes.
You have to be able to support each other.
Even to try go back a little bit about um, working together in the home, that looks different for every couple.
Right.
So you don't have to say stick to one thing. Okay, this is because a lot of times we go into marriage with preconceived notions of
Right.
what things should be because of the way that we grew up or how we grew up.
Right.
Some grew up with your parents, some grew up with a single parent, some grew up with grandparents. So the dynamics for everybody is different.
Yes.
And we feel like what we saw is what it is. And that's not necessarily the case.
Right.
So you have to find out what works for you and your spouse. You can take things from what you saw from your parents and grandparents, and you can apply it. You can try it and see if it works. And if it doesn't work, find what works for you.
Right.
So it's okay to try new things that work. Because it could be a strain on one
person. Yeah.
And so it still goes back to communication. You have to communicate. Okay, this isn't working, so we need to try something else and see if this works. So don't be afraid to say, okay, this ain't working out for me. So we need to try something else. And for those of, some, it's not only the men that are not domesticated. Some women are not domesticated as well. It's not to point fingers at any one in particular, but what you need to do is communicate, okay, I need some help.
Right.
It shouldn't be that difficult to say, okay, I need some help. They may not be able to do it as well as you can, but they can do it nonetheless. And if they can, then teach them.
That's the my shameless plug. That's the trick I use. I'm like, babe, you do that so much better than I do.
It doesn't work though.
It doesn't work all the time.
It doesn't work.
But I'm like, babe, you do that so much better. But I think the thing that works so well for us is that there's no gender roles in the house.
Right.
It's not, okay, you're the woman, you need to go in the kitchen, you need to cook, you need to clean, you need to do this. There's no gender roles here in the Hendfield home. That doesn't work well for everybody, but there's no gender roles here. If the garbage needs to be taken out and I'm home, I take the garbage out. I don't wait till he comes home and be like, babe, the garbage need to go out. Well, my oldest son is getting older now, so he's now involved in, which is bringing even more of a balance. Like, we don't put too much pressure on him, but we're still teaching him to be able to fend for himself. Like, we're not saying, okay, you don't have to learn how to cook. You don't have to do these things because when you get your wife, she's gonna do all that for you. No, I'm not trying to raise my son to stress out nobody daughter. I really ain't trying to raise him to stress out nobody child.
I often say this with adults, with couples. I often tell them a man should be able to do anything that a woman can do. If you should be able to cook, clean, all that stuff, you should be able to take care of yourself. Because there may be a time when your spouse may not be able to do anything in the home.
Right.
Sickness is no respect of persons.
Right.
So if she gets sick, then what are you going to do? The house is going to stay dirty.
Right.
Are you not going to eat? Are the children not going to eat?
Right.
So you have to be able to take care of yourself. And I often say the only thing a man should need a woman for is sex. But in some cases, men can help themselves. But just to say you should be able to take care of yourself.
Yes.
So be able to do those things. So our oldest son, he goes in the kitchen. There are some things that he can cook.
Right.
So we're teaching him that now.
Right.
Because mommy and daddy isn't going to be around all your life. I mean, we can be around, but we can be living with you for all your life.
Right.
So you have to be able to do these things on your And so we will transition to support. We'll go with support. And with support,
Yeah.
it's always good to support your spouse, and one shouldn't feel like, okay, I'm giving all this support and I'm not getting it back. So support
Right.
should be reciprocated. So if you are both goal-driven persons, the support should be there. The energy should be the same. That energy should be the same straight
Yeah.
across the board.
Right.
There are going to be sacrifices that are going to be made, that are
Right.
going to have to be made sometimes for you to support your spouse. And you got to do what you got to do. Sometimes you got to suck it up. You may have plans to do something, and your spouse is planning something, and you're like, the babe, I have whatever to do. And in some cases, you have to suck it up and go and support your spouse.
But again, that's the lack of communication where you may miss, and like I said, it's not always perfect, but as best as you can, try and talk about everything, okay? Because now he likes school, so now he's in school again for what is it called? Biblical studies, right? And so this is my level of support. When he has homework, I have homework. When he has to type up essays and stuff, I have essays to type up too. So I told Pastor Glenn that I'm going to need my name on the certificate as well, even though I'm not actually in class. But, I support him in that, because that is something that he always talked about doing. And I support him in that. And whenever it is, I decide to do whatever it is I decide to do, I know he have my back because he's already expressed that. He's like, babe, whatever it is that you want to do, I have you, I'm going to support. That support is major. And not only from your spouse, but in order to make sure everything that's balanced, listen, if you could find a village that's going to help you, that is going to be so great. Because I don't care how small your village is. It could be just your mom. It could be a friend, a really good friend that's trustworthy. That village support is really helpful, because when he was working, that 7 to 7 shift was a lot. So the children are in school, I'm at work, and it's like, okay, Grammy, can you pick up the kids, please? Because his shift was 7 in the morning to 7 in the night for 2 days, and then 7 in the night to 7 in the morning the next 2 days. So he had 4 days, and then he had 4 days off. So, but that village, listen, my mom, I tell the Lord I need to be a billionaire because I need to be a blessing to her, because the reason we're able to do this live in such quiet and peace is because she came for the kids to take them to the beach. And that's just stuff that she does, whenever it is that we need her. If she's available, she's like, I got your, his mom, if she is available or if she's on the island, she comes and she stays with us, and, she watches the kids, she would clean, help us out around the house and stuff like that. So that village is so key to help with the balance, because even if you want to have a date night, you don't have no babysitter, it'd be a little difficult to have a date night unless you put them to bed early, and then you have a little date night right at the dining room table. That works as well, because so many people feel like they feel pressured that date night has to be this big, extravagant, flower petals all over the floor, even though that's nice and it's really lovely, but with life happening, it's not always what?
Big.
It's not always available to be big. You're not always capable to do the big because life is happening. Hey, I have to go to work tomorrow, but babe, let's just sit down to the table, have a good conversation, eat some food, whatever. That could be considered a date night, because what you're doing is spending quality time with each other. And I think that, my mom, she kind of helps us have unscheduled date nights, or better yet, just quality time, because she would just come for the kids, and she would be like, I'm coming for the children, just tell them get ready. And I'll be like, okay, awesome. And so that gives us like an hour and a half to just chill, whether we decide that we'll watch a movie or, just cook something in the kitchen together, whatever it is, she kind of helps. So that support is important. Even in terms of man cave, you heard Linda speak about man cave. I told my husband, I am not a man. I don't need to be involved in the man cave experience. But my husband feels that I need to be involved because I told him I can support from the background. If I'm the person that he needs to talk to hash out all the stress and everything like that, hey, I'm there. I have you. But of course, he doesn't feel that support enough. So
Yes, you gotta be seen.
he wants me to be seen. And I told him I don't want to be, seen too much at the man cave events because I don't want the men to get intimidated, because ladies, we know a lot of times when men go in settings and they want to talk about us, they don't want to see us. So that's what I'm trying to explain to him. Like, listen, they don't want to see the woman, but I support him in that. I collect the tickets, and I sit outside the room, and I play a game on my phone or whatever. And when they have their intermission, seeing that he's written the book, I would have the books there if anyone is interested in purchasing the books. I'm the salesperson, so I'm the salesperson. I'm the ticket lady. I'm the counselor for when things are not going right. Ladies, sometimes they only want us to listen. They don't want us to give them no suggestions sometimes. And that's the same thing for me. When I have a hard day at work, sometimes I don't want to tell him because he's ready to go to my work to have discussions with people. And I'm like, I just need you to chill. I'm only venting, and I need you to just listen. So that support sometimes is just listening to your spouse, but again, like he said, both of you may be career driven, and sometimes we go back to communication. Sometimes my driven desire for my goal may collide with his desire for his goal. So you have to communicate to find a median wherein at some point in time a sacrifice is going to be made. Okay, babe, I'm going to lay back and let you do what you're doing. And then when you get where you got to go, I'll step forward and I'll do what I need to do. And, it's about functioning together. He came to me and he was like, babe, I want to push this idea about, planning events. Okay, babe. And guess what? Sometimes support is even just sharing what your spouse is doing. He asked me one day, he said, babe, I don't see you share my flyer and for my book and stuff like that. I say, but I do. But the thing, what I heard was that I don't feel supported enough. Even though I'm sharing the flyer, I'm not sharing it as often as I probably should. So what I did is I increased my sharing of his flyer, which is another way I'm supporting him. So we have to ensure that as much as possible, we support each other in your goals and dreams. And that, like I said, it goes back to even before you say I do. You need to find out from your partner that you're going to marry. What is it that you want to do? What is your 5-year plan? What is your 3-year plan? We don't even have to go to 5 years. What are you doing next year?
What is your 1-year plan?
Better yet, what you doing next month? You know what you're doing next month?
Isn't it funny, guys? This is the one who said that she was a little bit nervous.
Stop. Don't do that.
Does she look nervous to you guys? Just to recap, what we talked about so far, we talked about communication. Communication is key of working together in the home. We talked about support, supporting each other, your dreams and your visions. Julia touched about on date night. And like Shonda said, date night isn't about being materialistic. It's a date
Right.
night. And I think we put a lot of pressure.
Pressure.
I think I was having this conversation with Rashonda the other day. Society puts so much pressure on men to be the ones to plan everything, to plan a date night, and then the pressure we feel like it has to be something grand, and it doesn't have to be. It could be something simple. You could go for a walk on the beach, just get away from everybody else. Go for a walk on the beach. You could go for a drive, um, and just spend time together and talk. What you could even, I mean, there are so much ideas online that you can do. I literally screenshot some ideas the other day. It's about 50 of them, 50 of the ideas. And looking and reading the ideas, I was like, wow, you never really think about doing stuff like this. Even if it's, to go skating, go bowling, go to the movies, just spend time together. And I think that's important in every marriage. You have to spend time together. And it's not about discussing bills. It's not about discussing your stresses.
Oh, God.
You just go and have a good time and have fun like you used to do
Right.
before
When
you
you
got
were
married.
dating,
Just go and have fun. Just be free and be
because
yourself.
bills can take up a whole conversation.
Yeah, that could take up the
Bills
whole
can
day.
consume your date, and it's
You know,
not
so-
really a date. Then you end up arguing about bills. We want to argue about bills
Right,
on date
so-
night. That makes no sense. But I think, just to back up what he said, I think that nowadays social media has placed, if allowed, has placed so much pressure on relationships.
Right.
And that's why there are a lot of people that have difficulty finding a balance between their relationship and their career, because they're trying to keep up with what they're seeing on social media. Hey,
A lot of it
we
isn't
don't
even
know
real.
what they live in when they off
Right.
social media.
A lot of it
They
isn't
just
even
post
real.
in the pictures.
They post in the good stuff.
Right.
They don't post the bad stuff. They
Right.
don't post when they have arguments and when they separated and all
Right.
this other stuff.
Or
They
if
don't
they
post
sleeping
that.
in different rooms but in the same
Right.
house, they're not gonna post all of that. I mean, mind you, granted, they don't need to post that, because persons would never know if we're upset when we're out. Because for me, I'm big on not belittling him out. I don't do it home either, but I'm just saying I don't support just we bowing and carrying on in public. No, I don't agree with that. To me, if you have an argument, then let's deal with that in the car. But when we get out of the car, we acting like we ain't never row. I telling you, we've done it before.
Yes, many times.
We've done it many times, and if we even give those persons who are around us, if we tell them that we was bad when we come in the car, they wouldn't believe us, because we was with them. We was still showing each other respect and showing each other love and everything like that. But social media, it puts pressure on relationships, because everybody feels now that they have to do this grand gesture to propose. Everybody feels like they have to do this big, elaborate thing to say what baby you're having, and everybody, like, it's just too much pressure. Just live and enjoy each other. Like, I have a coworker of mine who's actually on this live. She always tells me, she says, "You really is be in your own zone," and I do, because there are times that things happen and I have no idea what's going on. I don't know, because I don't have the energy for all of that. But you have to not allow social media and things outside to affect how you balance your time with your spouse, because there are a lot of persons who don't have date nights because they feel like they have to do the big grand gesture.
Right.
And like he said, Prashanda said, sometimes it's just the simple things. It's the simple things, and that leads us into unplugging, because there are some marriages where you have persons that are entrepreneurs, and so in in their mind, I gotta grind, I gotta get this money, I gotta make this money to make sure my family good. But in grinding and making sure your family is good, you're not spending any time with your family. So that is something that, at certain points we just kind of unplug. We put phones away. Let's go for a walk. Let's go to the beach. Whatever it is, like he said, you have to unplug at some point. You have to say, okay, if you're an entrepreneur, you have to say, I'll work until 8. If you don't have any kids, you could do that. You could say, I'll work until 8, and babe, the rest of the time, it's me and you. We're gonna hang out, we're gonna do what we need to do. Because you have a lot of times where persons would work and work and work and work, and they're not even realizing that you working to make all these memories, which sometimes you even live to make the memories, because you don't work yourself into sickness, you've worked yourself into, unto death. I didn't want to say that, but
See, and then I think it causes a strain too on one spouse, the one that's home with if kids are involved, the one that's home with the children, because now that person has to be the one to come home and after working all day to make sure dinner is prepared, make sure that homework is done, the children are ready for bed, for school for the next day. So that's a strain on the relationship, and then you're absent, and then you become you miss so many things because you're working all the time. You feel like, well, especially if it's the male, you feel like, well, I'm supposed to be the provider. If I don't work, then I can't provide. But then providing isn't just money.
Right.
Sometimes you don't have to buy children anything. Sometimes you don't have to buy children anything. They want to spend time with you, just as your spouse. Sometimes they may not want you to go and buy elaborate gifts, but spend some quality time with me. And that costs you nothing. Because that, even though it's causing you time and you feel like it's taken away from you making money, but that's building your home.
Right.
So it really costs you nothing. Because where you feel like you're losing on one spectrum, you're gaining on the other. So don't negate the fact that you need to spend time. That's where we have we're present in the home, but we're absent.
Yeah.
And you don't want children to grow up that way. You don't want your spouse to feel like they're alone.
Right.
Like we're married, but I'm doing this by myself. So unplugging, leaving everything at the door. Just leave it outside. Leave it in the car. How about that? Just leave it in the car and pick it back up when you go in the car in the morning. Leave it in the car so when you walk through the door, it's family. And I have started to do it, not recently, but even more so now. Because people feel like once you're not working, you have time to just be available to them. Don't call me before 9 o'clock. Don't message me before 9 o'clock. I am not answering and I'm not responding. If it's Shalea, I will answer. If it's immediate family, and I feel like, okay, maybe I need to take this call or answer this message, then I will respond or answer the call. Outside of that, I'm not responding to you until after 9 o'clock.
Let me say it's a big might, okay? It's a big might. I watch. If that phone ring before 9 o'clock, you don't answer.
When I was working, when I worked, I had to be to work for 7 o'clock, and then we changed shifts and it was 8 o'clock. If I'm getting ready, why you messaging or calling me before 7 o'clock or 8 o'clock in the morning? That could wait.
Right.
If it isn't a near death experience and you're almost there, that could wait. And sometimes it could be a text message. You don't even need to call. Send a voice note. I will listen to it. And I started to do it intentionally and not responding until when I was working. Once I got to work and I settled, then I would listen to the voice note or look at the message. Even if I looked at it before, I wouldn't respond until I got to work and I was settled. Now, after 9 o'clock, not because I'm not working and means that I'm available to you anytime. In the evening, sometimes some persons I just ain't answering. I refuse to answer them until the next day because it could wait. I choose who I'm going to respond to, when I'm going to respond to them. And you could get upset with me all you want, that's on you. But at the end of the day, there
It's a
has
you
to be, yes, that's a you problem. But you have to create boundaries
Right.
because people will feel like
Right.
they
They
can
have
invade
full
your
access
space
to you at all
anytime.
times. Right.
No,
Right.
you shouldn't allow that. If you are someone that allows that to happen, set your boundaries. You don't even have to explain it to anybody.
Because
Just
you
set
won't
your
have a
boundaries.
balance otherwise. You won't have a balance if you don't create some sort of boundary. And just to kind of double back to date night, when you have kids, for us, we kind of try and do a little date with the kids where we would, it's not happening as often now, with the circumstances being what they are. But we try to do a date with the kids.
Right.
And for our children, that date could be going to the beach because they are certified beach bums. If you take them to the beach every day, they in heaven. So we spend quality time with them as well. With dates with them, so you as in balancing everything, because guess what, if you're working, your children are gonna feel absent from you as well, so I think this isn't the last point, but this point isn't in our notes, but I just wanted to say, with everything that we've said, you have to be intentional about it.
Right.
You cannot say, yeah, we're gonna do this, and then fall off. You have to intentionally communicate. You have to intentionally plan to spend time with each other. You have to intentionally create those boundaries so that your family life isn't consumed by everything. For he and I, we also have to put in ministry because both of us are a part of a choir. Both of us are active in our church. So I'm actually the praise and worship leader. He sings on the praise team. So there is no, how in some households you have one that's active and one that's not. No, we don't have that luxury. Both of us are extremely active because he's the church's administrator. He's the administrator for the choir. I'm a section leader for the choir. So busy lives. But when school is open, and even our director, she knows, when school is open, if it is that the kids have a lot of homework, okay, we decide, babe, it's you or me. Who gonna miss practice? And so once we decide and communicate with each other, well, okay, both of us were to practice last week. Okay, we're going over the same song. Okay, babe, so you go and I'll stay at home, make sure the kids get the homework done, put them to bed. So it's things like that, and again, back to the village, there are times where we have ministry engagements, and it's like, you know what, we, especially in this COVID season, we don't want to really carry the kids. So mama to the rescue again. God bless my mama, Sherelle Wright, love her. She's to the rescue again, because she'll be like, okay, just drop the kids by me, and we'll go minister and come back. Like he said, with and it goes back to what I'm saying, being intentional about everything. You have to be intentional about your communication with your spouse. You have to, because we're dedicated to work. When we go to work, and you give your work what's due.
So you should give them.
Well, yeah, you should give them what's due. Sometimes we don't. But there are some of us that we give work what's due. Sometimes we give work more than they
deserve.
But when it comes to our family, because we tired, we half step with our family, so there's no balance, but you have to be intentional about everything that we talked about tonight. And our final point, Linda and Vito, so get ready. Our final point is prayer. This is our final point because if you can't communicate if you can't communicate with God, this communication gonna have a problem too. This. Because communicating with God is just what we doing with y'all, just talking. You gotta pray. You gotta pray. So for those of you that don't know the Lord Jesus Christ in his fullness on this live, get to know him. Because you need God in order to do this thing. You need God in order to balance this thing properly. Because there are a lot of times he could tell you, he is what do I call him? He's a partial communicator. I'm a communicator. I talk about everything. If the cat outside but don't live here, getting on our nerve too much, babe, you need to, let's do some of this cat. I talk to him about that. So prayer is just, it has to be there. It has to be there because God then gives us insight and instructions on how to deal with the day-to-day things that we're dealing with. It gives us a peace.
Right.
You know, when you pray, you could be frustrated, and he knows that I've had many frustrating days coming from work. Frustrating days. Hallelujah. But prayer, you know, sometimes you put a worship song on and you get in that communication with God, and God just gives you a settling in your spirit. You know, so I think that's us.
Well, I like to plug in there. A lot of people feel like when you say pray, prayer time, you have to call heaven down, and you have to be
for an hour, 2 hours.
You know, out boisterous and loud and all that other stuff. Sometimes prayer is just meditating on the word.
Right.
You know, so you could be working and praying at the same time.
Right.
So sometimes you may come upon situations or something may have happened at home, and you don't want to go back home to really deal with the situation. So God, I need you to fix this before I walk back in the house.
Right.
You know, so it's simple things. So, and praying together is another thing as well. So not just praying alone, but praying
together as a unit.
Yes. So we talked about communication, working together in the home, date nights, being intentional, support, unplugging, and prayer.
We hope it was a blessing.
Yes, it was a blessing.
Yes,
Awesome
and
job.
The chat is lit right up. Everyone is writing their takeaways. We couldn't keep up with it.
Yes, awesome job, Bradley and
this is
Shalea.
really great conversation.
Great, excellent conversation.
Yeah, Bradley, you heard Shalea, right? But she's just a natural. You see, she just like.
I didn't know what she was nervous about, Linda. I told her that I'm the one that's always on live, so today is her day to shine. I'll support her. I'll be her support today.
That's a freeze mode. That's why I had to talk, right? Because he refused. He already told me, I'm not talking like that. I'm always on live. I'm not talking like that. I'm just loud. You just gonna throw me under the bus like that. Yeah.
It worked though.
What a throw. But yes, wonderful. We love it. The perspective and what you shared, it was really great hearing from behind the secrets of the man cave, all that support.
Yes, awesome job. And like Linda said, the chat is lit right up, and we have a few questions that we want to ask.
Yeah, before we wrap up.
Yeah, before we wrap up. And for our viewers that are watching, you want to make sure you go ahead and subscribe to the Unique Couples YouTube channel. There's that little button there that says subscribe. You want to click that, and you want to make sure turn on that notification bell, select all, so you can know every time that Unique Couples go live. So you want to make sure subscribe to our YouTube channel. So Bradley, the first question is for you. What advice would you give a husband who has a wife with a demanding job that keeps her away from the home for long periods of time?
Well, I mean, it goes back to communication. I think it's just a matter of communicating and finding out what works for you. If that is the case, then your presence need to be felt in the home. Now, if children are involved, then you need to be present. If your job is demanding as well, then you all need to work out something where help is involved. But be present. Sit down and communicate with her now. When it becomes too much, don't be afraid to say, okay, baby, I know that your job is a demanding job, but I think it's a little bit too much now. It's becoming overwhelming and you're gone too much. So we need to figure out, or you need to talk with whoever you need to speak with and let them know. They said you need a break or you need some time off or arrange some things where you can, if you can, get off a little bit earlier so that we can spend time together.
I think
As a
too,
family.
even if he finds out, even if it's as simple as them being able to get a lunch date in. You know what I'm saying? If her job is that demanding, where she's getting off later or whatever, even if it's where they're able to fit in a half hour, 15 minutes, just in the middle of the day. If you get a 15-minute break, babe, I outside in the car.
Yeah.
I got lunch, I got flowers, I got your favorite dish, whatever it is that he could do. Yeah, I'm here. Whatever it is that he could do, or even if it is that she's getting off late, and if he's not working, or even if it is, this is where sacrifice comes in, what we talked about. Even if he has to take a nap, if there are no children involved, that is. If he has to take a nap, and when she comes home, baby, I'm here.
Yeah.
What do you want to do? Let me rub your feet. Let me, all of that is quality time. Because if she has that much of a demanding job, she may be weary. So the simple thing, like even rubbing her feet, that may just send her into the moon. No.
What would you say to the husbands, Shalea?
I was talking about the husband.
Oh, okay.
I was actually addressing him, like, if because I don't know, let's say the schedule is she doesn't get until 8 or 9. He, even if he puts the children, if there are children involved, okay, kids, y'all gotta go to sleep. We're gonna need y'all to go to sleep. And if they don't want to go to sleep, there's some lovely medications. Y'all don't now listen.
Okay, everyone, we will have to say that is not.
Y'all like playing. So anyway, put the kids to bed. I kid. Put the kids to bed, and when she comes home, if it is that he doesn't know how to cook, even if he has to purchase a meal, or ask a friend, hey, whip up something for me so I can have it ready for my wife when she comes home.
Yeah. So yeah. A lot of that, like you said earlier, involves the communication, being intentional, and basically support. I think one of my takeaways, everyone make sure you put your takeaways in chat. Shalea, to go back and watch it and see all of the comments. One of the takeaways, I had was that you said the support, have each other's back. And that is so important, where you're not just thinking of yourself, you're thinking about working this together as a team and making it work. And knowing your plans, knowing, what you want to accomplish in a year and 5 years, and even having those couple goals will help you so that, even though there might be a time where, one spouse or both of you are working like crazy, you're just on that grind, just working, that it's part of a bigger plan. And you could, kind of balance and work towards that and know that it's not going to be forever.
Right.
Yeah. So that is definitely good to know and great. Yes, we see the
yes, they had
takeaways coming in. You had your takeaway to share too. Yes.
Yes. Shalea and Bradley had a number of takeaways, and one of the things what kind of stood out to me was where you guys talk about it takes a village to raise a child, and that is so true. That is so important in a marriage. You need that support. You need that help. And when you talked about the date nights, I agree 100% with you guys. You gotta have that help when it comes to dating, because like you said, you have to be intentional. It's all about being intentional in everything you do in your marriage. So once you have that support system, you can be able to do things together. So that's very, very important.
And then another thing with the date nights, like you said, you did it before to kind of like get to know your girlfriend before you got married. And that was something exciting that you participated in. And then suddenly when you're married, it's like date nights have gone out the window, and we made it so complicated, but we don't have to make it complicated. And if any of you are finding, date nights is something that is probably giving you pulling teeth and you're not sure what to do and all that stuff. Yes. Bradley said, he just went on and Googled and find some information, but we even have something a step way more, even better than that. You can join us in the Unique Couples Marriage Club. The link is in the description. You could go ahead, join us in that club. In the club, we're on a journey to more inspiration, motivation, inspiration, transformation, intimacy, trust, communication. We're talking about making your spouse your best friend.
Right.
Just doing the things that you need to do to take your relationship to the next level. And we have our monthly group date nights in there. And then we, of course, encourage couples to do their weekly date nights. Okay, so we give them like the ideas and steps and stuff of what they can do. So definitely join us in the Unique Couples Marriage Club for those of you who are not in the club yet. And if you're interested, you can email us at uniquecouplesrekindle@gmail.com, or you can type club in the chat. Yes, in the chat below, or go and click the link in the description to join us in the Unique Couples Marriage Club. So yes, we're all excited. Before we go, we have to say again, thanks to Style Me Pretty by Shadra. You could reach her at that number on the screen. Thanks for supporting tonight's event. Here to Please. Doris at Hair to Please. Go and get all your frontals and weaves and all that stuff and get your hairstyle. And then the Nail Lab Creations. Yes, Anna's doing a great job. So yeah, she did style me up as well. So go ahead and connect with these persons who are just supportive and believe in what we're doing here at Unique Couples. And of course.
So once again, we want to thank Bradley and Shalea for a great job this evening, taking time out of their schedule to come on and speak
busy schedule
to you all.
No problem.
And I would like for Bradley to tell our viewing audience how they can get in contact with him, because this book is a great book. So wives, I know we have a lot of ladies who are watching this evening. Secrets of the Man Cave.
Mm-hmm.
You can go ahead and purchase this for your husband, for your boyfriend, the person you're dating. You want to get this book for them. So Bradley, tell our viewing audience how they can connect with you.
Facebook, Bradley Hendfield. On Instagram, it's Bradley H26. That's the handle for Instagram. And then the Man Cave Experience, it's the Man Cave 242 on Instagram, and the Man Cave Experience on Facebook. If you are interested in purchasing a book, you can send me a message. I have copies on hand, so you can get a copy. You can get a signed copy. For those of you that may not be local and you are in the US, Amazon, type in Secrets of the Man Cave or type in my name, Bradley Hendfield with a D, Hendfield, and the book should come up. So those are the links. Oh, and payhip.com for the e-readers. So if you're an e-reader, payhip, payhip.com, and you can have the ebook as well.
Awesome. So folks, you can go ahead and get the Secrets of the Man Cave book. You can get it for your husband. Yes. You can get it for uncles, brothers.
Yes. Every man needs to have it. Yes.
All the men.
All the men. Yes. And listen, when I have a disclaimer to make, and I said this before, Bradley, when you came on. I think you came on in the club while you were in the club, right? In the Facebook group, How to Strengthen Your Marriage. So Vito brought the book home. I'm sorry, I know it was his book. But, I picked it up quick because I'm a quick reader, and I got it and I was like, scum to it, and, kind of like left it closed so he wouldn't know that, I actually went. So I know some of the secrets of the Man Cave. So ladies, go and read the book as well. Go and get the book. It is definitely going to change your perspective and help your man a lot. And we are all about supporting our men. So go ahead and get your copy of the book.
Yes. So once again, you want to make sure you subscribe to the Unique Couples YouTube channel. If you're not a part of the Unique Couples Marriage Club, click the link so you can be a part of the Marriage Club. And we just want to thank you all for being here this evening. We had a great time. Share
this. Yeah, subscribe and share this video.
Yes.
This powerful conversation. We need more couples to hear this, to hear the conversation, Bradley and Shalea had. This has been definitely amazing. Yes, Koshanda saying woman too. That's right.
Yes. So have a great evening, everybody. Here at Unique Couples, we are building stronger couples, healthier marriages, and happier families. We love you all. We'll see you all later.
Good night.
Bye.
Good night.
Good night.